Hello everyone, it's Old Guardian here. In this Raid Relics video, I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about relic crafting. Relic crafting can be a little bit intimidating because you have all these different types of materials, rarities and groups and everything, and then you put them in groups of 25 and then you roll the dice and see what happens. But in this video, I will tell you how to make the most out of your materials. First, thank you Raid Shadow Legends for sponsoring this video and for giving me this wonderful promo link down below in the description there in the QR code. If you need a new Raid Shadow Legends account, you can get one with Deacon Armstrong after the tutorial, Uugo at 15, Tagoar at 20, Mausoleum Mage at 30, the best possible start to Raid. But relic crafting. Relic crafting materials come from various groups. However, no matter what group materials you use, you always have a 50% chance to craft a relic from the standard group. The other 50% depends on the materials. There is more weight given to higher rarity materials. So if you use higher rarity materials from one group and lower rarity materials from another, then you have a higher chance to get the relic from the higher rarity material group. So if they're the same, then it's 25-25. Then if you mix, for example, legendary with rare, that's 40% and 10% and always the 50% for the standard group. However, there are other reasons not to mix those rarities, but we'll get to that in a moment. So if you want a relic from a specific group, do not mix groups, because that way you can get that 50% chance, and that is the best chance you have to get a relic from any specific group. However, if you want standard relic, so if there's standard relic that you really want, then you can mix groups as much as you like, because there's always going to be a 50% chance to get a relic from the standard group. The crafting material rarity is a little bit surprising. It really doesn't work in a very intuitive way, because let's say you have epic materials, but epic materials, if you use full epic materials, you actually only have a 35.95% chance to craft an epic relic. So epic materials are actually not for epic crafting or something. Full mythical materials give you 20% chance for mythical, 80% for legendary. Full legendary materials give you 0.5% for mythical, 39.5% for legendary, and 60% for epic. Then full epic materials, they can give you of any rarity, so 35.95% of those are epics, but even with epic materials, 60% of your relics will be rares. And if you use full rare materials, you can also get a relic of any rarity whatsoever, but 83.99% of those are rares. However, 15.5% of relics crafted with full rare materials actually turn out to be epics. So some takeaways from all of this mess. Full mythical materials, they always give you at least a legendary. But the moment you add any legendary materials to that, there's also a chance to get an epic. If you use legendary materials or above, then you will always get at least an epic. You cannot get a rare, unless you mix in some epic materials, in which case the chance of a rare just skyrockets immediately. And any craft can be legendary or mythical, including crafts made with full rare materials. So you really don't want to mix epic or rare materials into mythicals or legendaries, because then you immediately get a pretty big chance to get a rare relic, and that's probably not what you're aiming for. The best chance to get a mythical relic is with full mythical materials. However, the best chance to get a legendary relic is also with full mythical materials, because they're just much better for that than legendary materials. And actually, legendary materials give you the best chance to get an epic relic. Yeah, as you can see, this is a little bit confusing. What's the little saving grace for relic crafting is that rare materials are actually pretty good. They are much better than you would imagine, because 2.65 crafts with rare materials have the same chance to give you an epic as one craft with epic materials. So if you think which one is easier to get, like 100 pieces of epic materials or 300 pieces of rare, probably 300 pieces of rare, and you get the same chance to get an epic relic. Also, rare materials competing with legendary materials for epic relics, 5.44 crafts with rare materials have the same chance to give you an epic as one craft with legendary materials. Obviously, rare materials are not very reliable for trying to get a legendary or a mythical relic, for those who really need those mythical mats or at least legendary mats. But for epic relics, your chance to pick them up from rare materials is actually pretty good. So rare materials not to be underestimated. So if we take a look at some examples of if you want to target a specific relic and what should you do, let's say Wand of Submission, the primary PvP relic, it's a legendary from the standard group. So the best chance to get a Wand of Submission is with mythical materials, and you can mix groups, but don't mix rarity. So if you have mythical materials for multiple groups, you can use them all together in order to try to get your best chance to get a Wand of Submission, because there's always that 50% chance to get a standard relic. Legendary materials, they still give a reasonable chance to pick up a Wand of Submission, but don't mix them with mythicals, and especially don't mix them with epics, because then you just decrease your overall odds to get what you want. Or how about Golden Elixir, the gold standard of soloing relics? It's an epic relic from the standard group. Okay, so no matter which materials you use, you always have 50% chance to pick up a standard. So the best chance is with legendary materials. If you have legendary materials, even if you mix them for multiple groups, you still have the same odds to pick up a Golden Elixir, because there's always that 50% chance for a standard relic. So mix groups, don't mix rarity. Or what if you want an Erratic Coronet, let's say, a pretty good DPS relic? That's an epic relic from the Chimera group, so you want Chimera materials. And the best chance if you have full legendary Chimera materials. But legendary Chimera materials, you're not going to get them very quickly. The Chimera loot boxes are very stingy when it comes to epic and legendary materials. They mostly give you those rare materials. However, rare Chimera materials still give you a 7.75% chance to get a Chimera epic. So you want to craft full rare Chimera materials as well. You're going to get more of those. You'll be able to do a bunch of crafts with those. And that Erratic Coronet is not completely out of reach, even with just those rare materials. Mixing rarities is ineffective in the long term. If you have those rare Chimera mats and you have gotten a little bit of epic Chimera mats and you want to add them to the mix, yeah, that improves your odds to get the Erratic Coronet in that craft. But if you were able to get a full set of that epic material, so that you'll be able to do one full epic craft and then full rare crafts, then the overall odds of picking up the Erratic Coronet would be better. So you don't really want to mix the rarities. And also mixing groups is not very good because it reduces your odds more than it helps, even if you were to add materials of higher rarity from a different group, because then it also wastes the group so that you're less likely to pick up a Chimera relic. So yeah, relic crafting, it's heavy RNG in this game. One of my least favorite aspects probably of the game, because it's so hard to control. But the saving grace is that those rare materials are actually pretty good at also producing epic relics. So you will be getting epic relics even if you have access only to rare materials. So that's like the single upside of this. And if you're aiming for standard stuff, you can mix groups, but it's never really a good idea to mix rarity. Thank you for watching. Click like and subscribe if you enjoyed this, and a special thanks to all of my Patreon supporters, YouTube members and Twitch subscribers who make all of these videos possible.